have seen a recipe going around for a chicken gumbo that, for some reason, its first ingredient is 9 slices of bread. And that on its own is hilarious. But where on earth did this recipe come from? So I did a little digging, and it wasn't that hard to find. Originally, the recipe was posted on the New Orleans subreddit March 5th of this year, and everyone in the comments is making jokes about how ridiculous this recipe is. And a few people did guess the origin, given that one of the last names on the recipe is Yoder, and that is a very traditional Amish last name. A lot of people also guessed that it was from the Midwest, given that the recipe does not resemble any kind of gumbo at all, chicken or otherwise. One person did put the name of the recipe book it came from in the comments, and so I looked it up. There are a few copies of this cookbook for sale on eBay, one for just $14, and it's called From the Rolling Hills of Holmes County Down Home Cookin', and it's from 1992, and it was published by Abe and Edna Miller. That, along with several other recipes, can be found in this book. So if you're wondering, one person did actually manage to make this recipe October 2017. Patricia D of My Patchwork Quilt, it's a nice little blogspot blog, actually went through the pans of making this recipe. And like most people guess, it's not a gumbo at all. It's not a soup, it's not a stew, it's not even really anything that liquidy. It is mostly just a very, I guess, normal Midwestern casserole. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look that good to me. I don't really like gumbo, but I could still, say that, gumbo is probably a little bit more appetizing in appearance, but this is quite literally just a regular casserole. Why is it called gumbo? I'm not really sure, given that, it's a casserole and not a gumbo. Does gumbo means something different in the language that Amish people speak? I don't really know. I don't think so. This is about as far from gumbo as you can get, just based on the recipe and the composition of it all. And it is very hilarious. Now, I did a little bit more digging just to see, are Abe and Edna Miller still around? Well, I have some bad news. Edna Miller went on to glory on 9/11, 2020. It appears that Abe Miller is still around. However, Abe Miller is apparently a very common Amish name, and I found several obituaries for Abe Miller in Ohio that are not this Abe Miller, so I can only assume that Edna's husband is still alive. But yeah, that is the story of the origin of the 9 slices of bread gumbo.